Hey there, knowledge seekers. Today, we're diving into the lives and ideas of 5 philosophical powerhouses who've left an indelible mark on human thought. Buckle up for a journey through time and mind-bending concepts. 1. Socrates, the gadfly of Athens. Picture this: Athens, 470 BC. A barefoot man with a bulging belly and piercing eyes roams the streets, asking questions that make people question everything they thought they knew. That's Socrates. Known as the father of Western philosophy, Socrates believed that the wisest people were those who understood their own ignorance. His method? Constantly questioning and critically thinking about everything. It's like he was the original Google, but instead of giving you answers, he made you find them yourself. But not everyone appreciated his approach. In 399 BC, he was sentenced to death for corrupting the minds of the youth. His response? He drank the poisonous hemlock without argument, believing it would be wrong to disobey the law, even if he disagreed with it. Talk about sticking to your principles. Socrates never wrote anything down, so all we know about him comes from his students' writings. His most famous quote? "The unexamined life is not worth living." So next time you're overthinking something, just blame Socrates. 2. Plato, the Academy Award winner. Now, meet Plato, Socrates' star pupil and the founder of the first institution of higher learning in the Western world, the Academy. Born around 428 BC, Plato was basically the ancient Greek version of a trust fund kid, born into an aristocratic family with some serious connections. But instead of living the easy life, Plato decided to follow in Socrates' footsteps and become a philosopher. His big claim to fame? The theory of forms. Imagine a world where everything we see is just a shadow of its perfect, ideal form. Mind-blowing, right? Plato's writings, like the Republic, are still studied today. He covered everything from ethics to politics, and even threw in some wild ideas about reincarnation. So next time someone calls you an old soul, you can thank Plato for the concept. 3. Aristotle, the OG polymath. Enter Aristotle, the man who never met a subject he didn't want to study. Born in 384 BC, this guy was Plato's student and went on to tutor none other than Alexander the Great. Talk about an impressive resume. Aristotle was like the ancient Greek version of Google. He wrote about everything from physics to poetry, biology to politics. He even spent 2 years just observing and describing the zoology of Lesbos and its surrounding seas. Imagine being so dedicated to science that you spend years staring at fish. One of Aristotle's coolest contributions? He was the first person to study biology systematically. He noticed how animal structures match their functions, like how herons have long necks and legs for catching fish in marshes. Darwin would later use similar observations for his theory of evolution, but Aristotle was doing it over 2,000 years earlier. 4. Immanuel Kant, the Enlightenment superstar. Fast forward to 18th century Prussia. Meet Immanuel Kant, the man who brought together rationalism and empiricism and became the father of modern philosophy. Kant's big idea? Something called transcendental idealism. In simple terms, he argued that we can never know the true nature of things, only how they appear to us. It's like saying we're all living in the Matrix, but instead of machines, our own minds are creating the illusion. But Kant wasn't just about mind-bending metaphysics. He also had some pretty radical ideas about ethics and politics. He hoped for a world with perpetual peace, secured through an international federation of states. Sounds a bit like the UN, doesn't it? 5. Confucius, the Eastern sage. Last but not least, let's hop over to ancient China and meet Confucius. Born in 551 BC, Confucius lived in an age of violence and chaos. His response? Create a philosophy focused on harmony, morality, and good leadership. Confucius believed in the power of education and meritocracy. He taught that anyone, regardless of their background, could become a noble person through learning and self-cultivation. It's like he invented that started from the bottom, now we're here concept 2,500 years before Drake. His teachings, collected in a text called the Analects, have been the foundation of Chinese education for over 2,000 years. Talk about leaving a legacy. 6. René Descartes, the doubting genius. Picture this, it's the 17th century, and a French guy is lying in bed, questioning everything he knows. Descartes wasn't just content with accepting what he was told. He decided to doubt everything until he found something he couldn't doubt. And what did he come up with? I think therefore I am. Mind blown. But Descartes wasn't just about philosophical one-liners. He was also a math whiz who gave us the Cartesian plane. You know, that X and Y axis thing you used in high school? Yep, that's him. So next time you're plotting points on a graph, give a little nod to Renee. 7. John Locke, the empirical rock star. Now, let's hop over to England and meet John Locke, the guy who believed your mind starts as a blank slate. Sorry, no past lives here. Locke was all about experience being the source of all knowledge. It's like he was saying, you don't know anything until you try it. He'd probably be a big fan of those try not to laugh challenges on YouTube. But Locke wasn't just about how we learn. He also had some pretty radical ideas about government and natural rights. His thoughts on life, liberty, and property were so influential that they helped spark the American Revolution. Talk about making an impact. 8. Friedrich Nietzsche, the philosophical rebel. Enter Friedrich Nietzsche, the German philosopher with an impressive mustache and even more impressive ideas. Nietzsche was like the punk rocker of philosophy. He challenged everything, even the idea of truth itself. He famously declared God is dead, which was his way of saying traditional values and beliefs were losing their power in the modern world. But Nietzsche wasn't all doom and gloom. He also gave us the concept of the Übermensch, or Superman. No, not the guy in the red cape, but rather an ideal of human greatness. So next time someone calls you a superhero, you can say you're just embracing your inner Übermensch. 9. Karl Marx, the revolutionary thinker. Now, let's talk about Karl Marx, the guy whose ideas shook the world. Born in Germany in 1818, Marx was basically the original rebel with a cause. Marx looked at the world and saw a constant struggle between the haves and the have-nots. His famous work, The Communist Manifesto, is like the ultimate underdog story, where the working class finally gets to stick it to the man. But Marx wasn't just about stirring up trouble. He also gave us a new way to look at history and society. So next time you're complaining about your boss, remember, you're not just grumbling, you're participating in the class struggle. 10. Jean-Paul Sartre, the existential extraordinaire. Last but not least, let's meet Jean-Paul Sartre, the French philosopher who made existentialism cool. Born in 1905, Sartre was all about freedom and responsibility. Sartre's big idea? Existence precedes essence. In other words, you're born, and then you decide who you are. It's like life is one big character creation screen, and you get to choose your own adventure. But with great freedom comes great responsibility. Sartre believed that we're all responsible for our choices and actions. So next time you're procrastinating on a big decision, just remember, Sartre would want you to embrace your freedom and make a choice. And there you have it. 10 philosophical giants who've shaped the way we think about, well, everything. From Socrates' questioning to Sartre's existentialism, these thinkers have left an impact that we still feel today. So, the next time you're having a deep conversation at 3 a.m., remember, you're part of a long tradition of human thought. Keep questioning, keep thinking, and who knows? Maybe you'll be the next philosophical superstar. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments which philosophers' ideas resonate with you the most. Until next time, stay curious.